Pregame.com.
Oklahoma at Florida State, the #1 team in the country, early season battle. Stephen, is this the week that we have our first #1 go down? You know, every year it seems like we, have a couple big upsets. Does it happen this week?
Well, it could. You can make a case for Florida State, but I've got to wait and see an ACC team actually win a big non-conference game before I can say, yeah, this is going to be an upset special. I've yet to see an ACC team step up and win a big non-conference game like this.
Well, we talk about revenge. There's definitely revenge for Florida State. Florida State, highly ranked as well this year, but they're not the #1 team. So that #1 team, they walk around with that bullseye on their back all season long until they get knocked off. Florida State got pounded last year at Oklahoma, 47-17. Can they possibly close a 30-point gap in 1 year?
Well, looking back on that was Jimbo Fisher's just his second game since replacing Bowden. After that, I believe they won 5 in a row, and they got their season turned around, and they've gotten much better since then. Of course, the key question is, as you point out, have they closed the gap enough since then? I think they have their confidence up for this. Oklahoma is not a good road team spread-wise. Let me quote this statistics. This was actually, I got to credit Brian Leonard, a great handicapper, and I guess he's a new addition to pregame.
Yes, he is.
And Brian gave me this statistic regarding this game. Oklahoma, one winning spread record as a road favorite since 2001. Only 1 year since 2001 have they had a winning spread record when they were a road favorite.
For the whole season.
Yes.
That's one of the knocks have been with Oklahoma, and obviously their disappointments that they've had in recent years in the bowl games as well, playing on a neutral.
So they are vulnerable. It's just, and I know it's hard even after they've been in the conference a few years to think of Florida State as an ACC team, but they haven't been good, since 2003 was really the last year they were good. It's been 8 years. This is their chance. This is the chance to rise up. And if they don't do it, I'm not going to get behind any ACC team. The whole conference is relying on this for prestige, don't you think, Mark?
It's definitely a big game, and it's a big game in the coaching career of Jimbo Fisher.
Yes.
I mean, this is a game that one can put Florida State back on the national power, map, so to speak, a place that they were a perennial team every year in the heyday of Bobby Bowden. A lot of people thought the last few years of Bobby Bowden that the team really started to regress, and now you've got a guy that's enthused, energetic, and trying to rebuild that program. And at the end of last season, the second half of the season last year, you got to say they were heading there. This team was playing some good football. Also, I've got to look and say, this is the #1 team in the country, Oklahoma. They've had all the preseason hype. They've got the flashy quarterback coming back. I can't get past that this number's only 3. I know us as handicappers, we know that Oklahoma's had their problems on the road, but they still generally win. They don't cover those spreads. When you're looking at a line of 3, I'm looking at how John Q. Public, and when I refer to John Q. Public, I'm talking about, me and you, if we walked into Green Valley Ranch right now, there's going to be a whole room of John Q. Public guys that are sitting there that bet their $20 and $50 on the games, and they're going to look and see the #1 team in the country is -3 points. They just got to win the game. 3 or less, in their mind, they just got to win the game. And to me, that is just too easy of a handicap with the #1 team. Florida State, this is what I like to refer to as a statement game. This is the game that can make their season, make Jimbo Fisher's young head coaching career at Florida State, and like I said, bring them back to prominence. I think they can pull it off. It's a Saturday night game, national TV. There's just that aura whenever you get that kind of, look last week, even though I lost with it, and it was the one thing that I was worried about in the Notre Dame-Michigan game, you had a night game at Michigan. Now, that was the first night game at Michigan. Obviously, there's been, tons of night games at Florida State. But when you bring that camera crew in, and you set up and turn the lights on and it's Saturday night, your fan base has been tailgating all day long and the crowd is just at a different, intensity. I think it really is worth more than the normal few points of home field. I think there's more there. I'm going to go ahead and say it. We're going to have our first upset of the number one team of the season. I think Florida State pulls this game out. It's just a regular play, but I'm going to go ahead and say Florida State 31-30. What do you think?
Well, Marco, I got to take the easy way out here. I don't have an opinion on the game. I'm going to watch it. I do think Florida State is going to come in with their A game. If Oklahoma is flat, they're going to lose. Oklahoma has to have a good effort here, but I think if they have a good effort and Florida State has a good effort, I think Oklahoma trumps Florida State. But, we'll have to see. Certainly the setting is ripe. It's perfect for a Florida State upset.
Well, there you have it. I'm going to call the upset. We're going to go Florida State 31-30. I think it'll be an entertaining game, high scoring. I'm not sold on this Oklahoma defense. They play in the Big 12, which is an offensive-oriented conference for sure. We'll see what Florida State can pull off and Jimbo Fisher on Saturday night. There's my play, Florida State. Steven's kind of on the fence with this one. We're going to be back. Our next video, we're going to the NFL. We got some NFL games. We're going to talk Baltimore at Tennessee. First game up when we get back.